UFC 301 just took place, and today, guys, I am going to be taking a look at the card, reacting to the fights, and talking about the betting recap with timestamps if you'd like to skip to any part of the video. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with too many YouTube channels. I must apologize in advance, guys, because I'm extremely congested. Allergy season is horrible right now, so I can feel myself deep breathing into this microphone. Hopefully, it doesn't completely ruin the experience, but I'm having a little bit of a rough go over here. So, I want to start off with the betting recap. Now, it is important to note, and I always feel bad talking about something like this because, of course, this is easy to say afterwards, like after the betting thing is over. What I had to say throughout, and of course, I just made my webcam a little too big over here. What I had to say is, do not blindly tail. I have a members-only video already published explaining why I made some of these picks. I highly suggest you watch that. Thank you very much for the support. And the reason I said that is it's very, very important. And like I said, it's very difficult to come and make this video because my bets were obviously very, very hit or miss this time around. And it's very easy to say, well, I was targeting value, but the proof is there in the members only videos. I'm just worried in saying this, I can come across like such an a-hole, somebody who's like not owning his losses or anything. So what I did have to say in that members only video was I see a lot of value over here. As you can see, I targeted quite a few odds or quite a few fights at plus odds where I was like, I think this has serious potential. So what I had was the same strategy. If you've been following the channel for UFC 300, this could have went either really, really well or just meh. And that's what this card was all about. Moving forward, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to go back to just putting like my safe, confident picks and betting with that. And I don't like having all of these bets. I've done it a couple times now. I don't like that. So you can expect that from the members only subscription moving forward. Not going to be targeting a ton of value unless there's something like insane that I see. I'm going to be shooting for safe. That's where I have my success. So guys, if you are interested in either supporting the channel or seeing my official picks every single week, join the members only part of the channel. It is next to the subscribe button. Thank you very much for your support. So let's go through the fun parlay. The fun parlay, I typically, this will still keep because it's always fun to have a big fun parlay. What if you end up calling everything, right? And that had, of course, a little bit of mixed success. Some wins, some loses, some losses. Now, single bet, 0.25 units. Ernesta, Kachawi, Quito to win. Always pronounce her last name wrong. I think this was a robbery. I think it was a draw. At the very least, it was a ridiculous decision. Kevin Borjas, Alessandro Costa over 1.5 rounds. Called it really close. Steve Erceg to win. I also thought this was a robbery. Now, a 3-fight parlay for 0.25 units. This kind of shocked me. I thought Kyle Barajo, Paul Craig, Ismael Lucindo versus Kilian Kowalkiewicz, and Vitor Petrino versus Anthony Smith all to go over 1.5 rounds. I thought that would have been a very, very safe bet. I honestly made that thinking it was a safe bet. It wasn't even one of those where it's like, well, I'm targeting value like Steve Erceg or Jonathan Martinez, or Ihor Potieria, someone we're going to be talking about. Another single bet for Joanderson, Brito versus Jack Shore over 1.5 rounds. Cutting that close. Single bet, 0.25 units. Steve Erceg versus Alexandre Pantoja over 4.5 rounds. I liked that bet. Now, here's where it gets a little bit hard because you have the 2-fight parlay and the single bet 0.5 units and then 1 unit bets and then a 2-unit bet. This is where it gets really tough. I thought Jonathan Martinez was going to win. He disappointed me. I'm going to be talking about that more in the, of course, reactions to all the breakdowns. So that one disappointed me a little bit. Vitor Petrino, man, you know what? I can't remember if it was the full card breakdown or the betting guide. In one of those videos, I said, guys, am I crazy for thinking Anthony Smith can pull it off? And I didn't listen to my gut on that one. I thought Anthony Smith was washed. Well, he still might be, but I think Vitor Petrino's overhyped. So that's the only problem. Now, my two most confident picks on the card, both Joanderson, Brito, and Alessandro Costa, ended up getting the win there. Both of them looked fantastic. I was really particularly feeling good about these two fighters. And the single bet for 2 units for Ihor Potieria to win. This is what really killed me on the night. And in this members only video, I had this to say, and in the betting guide as well. I said that the only reason I was putting that much on Ihor Potieria, and I was not confident that Ihor Potieria would win at all. I thought that should have been a pick'em fight. I thought that fight could have gone either way. I thought everyone was counting out Ihor Potieria, and I thought that I can't remember if I got him at plus 500 or plus 550. One of those two, I thought that was nuts, so I threw 2 units on it, and I took a big gamble. And that's why I was talking about, moving forward, I don't want to do this anymore because this ends up losing for me personally. I know a lot of people who do target value, see their underdogs, they shoot for it. I like to target my minus 150s. I like to pretty much play it as safe as possible. So moving forward, that's what I'm going to be doing with the channel. I already have my picks for next weekend, and they are So far, just straight single bets. I don't like doing this. I don't like losing money. I will still have the fun parlay. Don't get me wrong. That's always really, really fun to do, but I don't like having this mixed success. I don't like the strategy that I use for UFC 300. Again, I targeted value. I don't like it. So you can expect that from the channel moving forward. Again, guys, like I said, I have a little bit of a tough time talking about it because if I was watching somebody sitting here and just talking about his losses and like, well, I said that I wasn't confident in the members only video, I would be like, oh, okay, buddy. Yeah, okay. Yeah. But I actually did say that in the members only video. That's the problem. That's the problem here. So I'm ready for the backlash on this one. If you're a member, thank you very much for the support. Apologies for the picks this time. We are going to be moving just completely safe moving forward. That's what I'm going to do. I don't like this type of betting strategy that I've been doing for UFC 300 and UFC 301. Done it a couple times in the past, but I went really, really hard into value for this one. A lot of underdogs that I shot for. Not feeling good about it, man. Not feeling good about it at all, but I am feeling good about the picks next weekend because, again, going back to safe. I was a conversation for another video, but I'm very tempted on Terrence McKinney, though, at almost plus 300. Don't mind that at all. But anyways, the betting guide will be out tomorrow if you're interested. Let's react to the fights, though. So the first fight that I want to talk about is Alessandro Costa versus Kevin Borjas. This was one of my most confident picks on the card. I was feeling very good about Alessandro Costa. I think that he is a severely, severely underrated fighter. The only problem is, and I believe I said this in the full card breakdown, is that he never goes for the safe route, and sometimes that gets him into trouble, where it's like, oh, I see a neck, I'm going to go for a guillotine. You know, that type of stuff. But other than that, he's a very complete fighter. He's very technical. He's very good at what he does. And I thought he had more options than Kevin Borjas to win the fight. And that fight, I called completely accurately. I am feeling very, very good about Alessandro Costa, even moving forward. I like watching the dude a lot. Moving on, we have Vinc Pichel versus Ismael Bonfim. And guys, I said that after Ismael Bonfim's last fight, that I was not off the Ismael Bonfim train. I am officially off of the Ismael Bonfim train. Vinc Pichel is somebody that he should have finished. Vinc Pichel is not necessarily a shell of the fighter that he once was, but he's clearly aging. He's clearly aging. Clearly doesn't have the technique that Ismael Bonfim has at this point in his career anymore. Ismael Bonfim should have went out there and finished Vinc Pichel. He got the win, and Vinc Pichel had his moments. I don't like that Ismael Bonfim gave him his moments. I think this should have been a steamroll from Ismael Bonfim. He was my lock of the week. And moving forward, I really don't know how I'm going to approach an Ismael Bonfim fight. It has to be a really, really good matchup for him. I'm officially off the Bonfim train. Moving on, Dione Barbosa versus Ernesta Kareckaite. I apologize, guys. I always pronounce her last name wrong, but I thought this was ridiculous. I thought this was an absolute robbery, a draw at the very least. And the reason I say draw is because I personally gave Dione Barbosa a 10-8 in the first round. I understand if somebody's watching the fight and they don't want to give it, even if the judges don't want to give it a 10-8 round. I thought that that's the only round she won. Rounds 2 and 3 were very clear for Ernesta, and I thought she got the win. I was feeling really good about her, and you know what? For Ernesta, I'm so confused about how to feel about her moving forward, because if you guys would have watched the breakdowns, I was super high on her. Super high. I think she's fantastic. I think she has the cardio, the heart, the determination. I think she has the technique on the feet. The only problem is we don't know how her ground game is. And that showed. And the reason that I'm having trouble with this is because she got taken down in the first round, controlled, beaten up. She looked like she had almost no clue what she was doing. She was barely surviving submission attempts. In rounds 2 and 3, the sprawls were there, the scrambles were there, the transitions were there, the submission defense was there. I don't understand. Where was all that in the first round? Was Dione just fading? I don't know. I don't know how to feel about her moving forward. I still have questions about her ground game because we saw such a mix of what happened. Other than that, I am still really like, if she fights a striker, man, I'm probably going to bet on her. I think she is a very, very good fighter with a lot of potential. But speaking of good fighters with a lot of potential, we have Mauricio Ruffy versus Jamie Mullarkey. Mauricio Ruffy lived up to the hype, man. This dude was dangerous. He was moving. He, like, every single thing that people were hyping him up about, he lived up to the hype. And I know it's against Jamie Mullarkey. I know it's against, I would personally say subpar competition. A little bit better than you can, but I don't mean to be disrespectful because I kind of hope that Jamie Mullarkey wins fights sometimes because I feel bad for the guy. Everybody counts him out, but Mauricio Ruffy, man, he came in. He looked great. Moving forward, Joanderson Brito versus Jack Shore. Guys, if you watch the breakdowns, I was very, very high on Joanderson Brito. He was one of my most confident picks on the card. I put a unit bet on him. I'm feeling really, really good about Joanderson Brito, and he came out looking for absolute violence against Jack Shore. A little bit of controversy on the stoppage because if you would know, I don't know if it was Jack Shore's team member or somebody close to Jack Shore, but they posted a photo saying like, okay, well, this only needed a couple stitches. This is what the cut looks like, and it wasn't that bad. But at the end of the day, he was going to lose that fight either way. All it took was a couple more. The ref saved him from damage. I personally thought that was a good stoppage. Joanderson Brito was winning that fight either way. I love watching Joanderson Brito fight. I think the dude is very technical and dangerous at the same time. Sometimes he can get up kind of throwing absolutely everything into his shots. He just wants to come out there and kill you. So, to be honest with you, I'm probably going to ride the Joanderson Brito until the wheels on that train fall off. But if he keeps fighting people to the level of Jack Shore, and no disrespect to Jack Shore, I just think that Joanderson Brito is a top 15 fighter. If he's fighting people outside the top 15, I'm probably going to continue betting on him. I have been betting on him. I like Joanderson Brito. I think he's very violent, very dangerous. Moving on to the next fight, Michel Pereira versus Ihor Potieria. I talked a lot about this fight moving forward into the card. I thought this should have been a pick'em fight. I thought that everybody was severely counting out Ihor Potieria. I didn't say he was going to win. I didn't say he was going to win. I think it should have been a pick'em fight. I thought it was a 50-50. Michel Pereira came out, stormed him, knocked him down with a jab, did a backflip, and guys, he landed an illegal shot. I feel bad talking about this because I don't want to sit back and say like, well, Ihor Potieria, if he would have gotten up, like I don't think that's the case. With the way that Michel Pereira came out and looked and Ihor Potieria just ate one jab and kind of fell over, I feel like Michel Pereira would have won that fight anyways, but the backflip was illegal, his shin landed on the head, and then he got the finish for that reason, I believe. The commission looked at it and they said, it's legal enough. How does that work? Come on, man. Like, legal enough? That fight should have been called off, dude. That fight should have been called off, in my opinion. It should have been a no contest. That was too big of a shot to take. You have a dude falling from the sky, lands his shin on your head, and it's legal enough. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. So, like, I'm not going back and saying, like, again, Ihor Potieria would have came out and would have won that fight. Michel Pereira did look good, and I think that was an error on my end. Well, definitely an error on my end. But I was counting out, or I don't know if I was counting out Michel Pereira or overrating Ihor Potieria. I don't know. I just thought it was going to be pick and fight moving in, but fight should have been called off in my opinion. Fight should have been deemed a no contest. Legal enough was the reason. That's insane to me. Moving on to everybody's parlay buster with Anthony Smith versus Vitor Petrino. Guys, I don't want to see Anthony Smith talking about a win anymore. I can't believe it. I always thought that Vitor Petrino was overrated, but I thought Anthony Smith was washed, and he still might be. Might have been a little bit of a combination of both, like Anthony Smith having that experience at Vitor Petrino not. And Anthony Smith ended up getting a quick win. There's not too much to say about that. And Anthony Smith's probably going to go parading around talking about what a fantastic fighter that he is now. Even in the post-fight interview, he said that he's still going to be champion. Like, he's not beating Alex Pereira. He's not beating Yuri Prochazka. Rakic would absolutely annihilate him again. Like, he's going to be in full delusion now moving forward. And you know what? It's going to be kind of funny. Now we have Jose Aldo versus Jonathan Martinez. Guys, Jonathan Martinez disappointed me in this fight. I thought that he was going to win. I thought it was going to be a passing the torch matchup. I thought the younger guy would have come out and win. Jose Aldo, I had a lot of questions about his motivations coming back. I had a lot of questions about his age at this point. Maybe he wouldn't be able to take the damage. He's been off for a while. And I understand he's been a little bit active in martial arts, but he still hasn't been in a fight with a guy like Jonathan Martinez. And I was disappointed in Jonathan Martinez, dude. He was very, very low volume. He didn't look like he wanted to go out there and get the win. I think he's better than that performance. I think Jose Aldo's stylistic matchup gives Jonathan Martinez a little bit of an issue, but at the end of the day, I don't think Jonathan Martinez lived up to his potential in this fight, and maybe he's going to go back and adjust things, but I still am very high on Jonathan Martinez as a contender. I still think he's a fantastic fighter. I just completely called that fight wrong. I thought Jonathan Martinez was going to win. Now we have the biggest controversy of the night, arguably. Alexandre Pantoja versus Steve Erceg. Guys, I thought Steve Erceg won the fight. I thought this was a robbery. I thought it was 2-2 going into the fifth, and I gave Steve Erceg the fifth round. I thought that the rounds were clear personally, but the fight even ended, and because they were in Brazil, and this is what I was worried about Ernesta's fight too, is I guarantee you, and I told my brother this while we were watching it, I looked over and I'm going to go, okay, it's going to be 49-46, one of the judges, and that's going to sway it. And of course, and 49-46 for your winner, and still. So that was to be expected, to be honest. I didn't think that Steve Erceg was going to get the decision after, but I still thought Steve Erceg won the fight. Regardless, Steve Erceg proved that he belongs at the top. There was a lot of questions, and I had a lot of questions as well. I was thinking, like, because my big problem with picking this fight was Steve Erceg hasn't fought anybody to the level of Alexandre Pantoja. But the technique is there, the cardio is there, the heart seems to be there. He seems to have all of the tools to actually beat Pantoja, and he proved that. He went out and proved that. He is a top contender. You can mix Steve Versailles with anybody. Now, the question is, do you move him up in the division? I don't know, because he technically didn't get the win, but his stock went up, dude. I like Steve Versailles a lot. I can't wait to watch him fight again. He, from the looks of it, will probably be champion one day, in my opinion. He beat Pantoja. Pantoja looked like he was suffering a little bit in there. I wonder if his age is starting to get into him. But, hey, man, what can you do, right? It was a kind of a close fight. I still think it was a robbery. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching the video, everybody. Check out the full card breakdown for next week. It is already up on screen right now. I will see you over there. Take care.